Well, all right, good morning. Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube, Pastor Dow. Now, didn't I tell you that the mass exodus from blue states to red states was going to happen? It is happening. At least I know in the ministry it's been happening for a long, long time. People are no longer going to sit in these so-called privileged states just because you're there or they want you there, like California, Illinois, New Jersey, New York. Everybody is fleeing these states because of taxation. They're fleeing these states because of housing. They're fleeing these states because of education. And more than anything, they're fleeing these states because of requirements. They come on down to the side where it's free. And that means that California, Illinois, New Jersey, New York, all these states like that, they're all going to be losing more votes. They're going to be losing more, not only more votes, they're going to be losing more representation at the House and the Senate level, which is good. They need to. But when you look at the median home price in California, $1.1 million, $600,000 for a 1,200 square foot home. And here in the South, I mean, just the other day I was looking online because I'm looking to purchase some more land. And I was actually looking for some land with a little small home on it. And when I looked at that land with that little small home on it, it was like a 1,300 square foot home, $340,000. I said, man, what's in the world is going on? Because see, I build homes, not myself and the brother, and we build homes in the ministry. And so, I've been out of touch, out of the market for a long, long time. And when I looked at that, I'm like, man, these homes used to be no more than $125,000 10 years ago. How in the world do they jump that high? Well, again, inflation. And how's that working for you? If you do get a pay raise, how's it working for you? Because as soon as you go fill up your gas tank 2 times in a month, your pay raise is gone. Nothing is working. So the hypocrisy of the Democrats, the hypocrisy is being showed all the way around the globe. Nobody wants to play these games anymore. And let's keep our minds on the cutting edge. Putin and China, I forget how you pronounce his name. They just had another summit. And their summit was all about the tensions that are going on in the West. I keep telling y'all get your minds and everything squared. I was reading in the news the other day also, we'll call this a melody, that guess what? Now our government wants to make sure that women at 18 years old register for selective service, and they're more likely thinking about implementing them or doing them or allowing them to be in the draft. Notice the words I use, allow. They use these play on words in almost every aspect today. First, they try to tell you, manipulate you, control you, dominate you, and try to tell you exactly what you're going to do. And then at the end of it, they try to frame the words and frame things and say it in such a way as if it's an option. You can pick or choose to participate or stuff like this. When the first part of it, that's legal jargon, they just got finished trying to muscle you, telling you what to do. I know that Tesla is moving out of California. That's big. I think it said YouTube, some people from YouTube, or they getting ready to move up out of there too. It's crazy when you look at the world that's going on today and what is taking place, and you all know what I'm talking about. Most people just simply ain't playing the game. We ain't playing the game. And it's sad. And it really, truly is sad. I hope that some way, somehow, that if you are in one of these states and you are moving, move very carefully. Make sure you pick a nice area to move in, because these cities, that's the one thing I've always advised against. You do not want to be caught in these cities. These cities are crazy. They are really crazy. Crime has increased exponentially ever since the Biden administration. We have never seen such a decline in a short period of time from one presidency to another in the history of the whole of mankind in any country. This is bad what's going on in the United States of America. And of course, I advocate homeschooling, always have, and always will continue to keep doing that. And we don't want our children around some of these stark raving mad people that's got these different alternative ideals and stuff that is affecting the world and causing people to go bat crap crazy. Listen. Don't move to the cities if you are going to move. Move on the outskirts and the suburbs and stuff and continue, you know what I mean? And move to the country preferably. Learn how to downsize so you don't participate in the heavy repressive taxation without representation in this country. Don't do that. You don't want to participate. Now, how you opt out of it is you opt out by growing your own food, making your own gardens, and doing as less as possible, paying for what you call quote unquote goods and services. And the less you do that, the more money you will have in your pockets and the less taxes you'd have to pay. Limit your going. Don't go out there and pay. I mean, it's just the other day, my child told me that she had a half a tank of gas. Went to fill it up, and it cost $60 at a half a tank. That is off of the proverbial chain ridiculous. Now, I know my truck is one bill every time. Every single time is one bill. But I'm sitting there thinking, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And for what? Because we stopped a bunch of policies that Trump had implemented and stuff, all because we wanted to start up a new America and watch his hint, and give you change that you can't believe in. I bet you believe it now. I bet you believe it now, because what this buffoon is doing up there and the rest of this chaotic administration right here, they are plunging us into a Great Depression. They're plunging us into stagflation. They're plunging us into something that I think the Depression would pale in comparison. But the people who did not get affected as bad during the Great Depression were the ones who learned how to live on a homestead and live simple. Listen, there are people now that are going to Home Depot, I wouldn't advise it, and buying these little homes, you know, these little $12,000, $15,000. Them things used to be $7,000, $8,000. They're $16,000 now. Putting them things, first of all, I wouldn't advise against that. I really, truly would. It's not stable. It's not safe. And hey, you'd be better off with a trailer than one of them. They don't even take a tornado. All it takes is a strong wind to come blow that thing apart. But, you know, that's because I build. I know what it's about. And some of you know, I don't know what it is. But you're going to have to get out of this mindset. Well, I can't do this and I can't do that. Yeah, you can too. Because look what happened when these tornadoes raged through the South and tore up Kentucky. There's a lot of people say they couldn't do a lot of things. And guess what? They're doing the very things that they say they couldn't do now. And when I looked at that, I said, look at that stick frame building. Look, when I call stick frame building, I'm talking about your traditional, conventional 2x4, 2x6 frame homes and stuff. And they do it because, you know, wood is in great supply up here. But I always advise against building a house unless you're living in some type of depression, some type of valley or something like that where tornadoes just don't skip from the high land and go down to the lower land, because tornadoes get their best destruction, if you notice, on a plain. They don't usually just jump down in the valleys and all this other stuff and in between mountains and stuff like that. They just don't. They don't see tornadoes in those areas. So you got to be very discerning when you're looking for land. But I tell you, I can only give so much advice. I can't live it for you. I can't do it for you. I can only hope that you have the eyes to see, the ears to hear, the heart to believe, and then not only that, more than anything, the ability and the zeal to perform it. Because it does no good to sit up and have ideas in your head and don't implement it with your hands. It doesn't any good at all. And you know, if you want to save a lot of steps, all you gotta do is go back in my archives and I mean, way back. You can go back almost 15, 16 years in this YouTube thing. Look at my archives and look and see about the steps to building homes and what I've done. And now, don't get me wrong, I have built homes with 2x4s and 2x6, but when we build them, they're a hell of a lot different than what you will buy out there with them little cheap Home Depot, Lowe's buildings and stuff, and the conventional homes that they build today. Everything that we do it with overkill. That's what it's called out there in the land of construction. But we do it with some with sincere overkill because we want to make sure that thing is going to last a long time. But more than anything, we actually believe in building more out of concrete. And I'll leave you with this tidbit. Have you ever been downtown to any of these cities and stuff and see some of these old buildings that are still standing up, block buildings that have been there? Some of them abandoned and stuff, but the ideal is that they're still standing. They're standing there in these areas. Think about that. After all these years, and then if you ever go out and you see some of these buildings that was built by wood, you see them all drooping down and bent over, and it looks like you could go up there with your finger and push them over and fall over and stuff. You know, if you're gonna build, try to be wise and be smart in how you're going to do it, but you need to talk to someone that is a builder in order to get it accomplished and done. I actually think that you should learn how to build and build it yourself. That way you know that it's built right, because in the construction world, the way these people are building these homes and the way these tornadoes are tearing these things apart like toothpicks, and what they call structural engineering, and what the engineers in themselves say, well, this is proved by engineering and stuff. Man, this stuff right here, I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't trust it at all. I will not trust it at all, especially nobody else building, because, again, in construction language, you can't see it from my house.